It never gets old. It's a staple. It's tonight.
Yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, hands open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me, it's never the sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.
Yeah. Welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Lion Villain Report, and I am your host. It's your boy, Russell Wayne, up in the house. We are broadcasting live into the Lion Villain Squad Facebook page. Over 55,000, racing towards 56,000 villains. Thank you to all who follow, like, share, and subscribe to this content. We are also on YouTube at Lions Villain Squad right there. Thank you to everybody who subscribes and comments and takes part in our content right there. We are also live in the Detroit Lions News Podcast and the JC Sports Network. Thank you to Joe Chap and the boys for allowing us to be on that platform of over 100,000, all of them put together, along with his Twitter as well. We are brought to you by NFL Shop. NFL Shop, you can use that QR code, or you can use the link that I'm about ready to put into the comments here in a minute, and you can get 30% off. So thank you to NFL Shop for allowing us to be fuel our show. It's faith, family, and then football in that order. We use football to spend time with our family, to create memories. We don't let football use us. And our stars program, that's my little guy right there. You can follow my wife's page right there. And she's an advocate for autism awareness. So her page is dedicated to the journey of my son, who has a rare genetic disorder and is being studied by the University of Michigan. And thank you to the University of Michigan, but thank you to anybody who comments with stars, because the Lions Villain Squad is going to donate their stars to Ashton's program right here, in which she is sharing resources for families who have children with special needs right here. And welcome to the program. It's the Lions Villain Report. And I know what everybody wants to talk about. You know, I know everybody is concerned about Hutchinson right now, but this team is not called the Detroit Hutchinsons. This is the Detroit Lions. And I'm going to bring in my partner in crime so we can go over this game right here. The game that happened. The game that we saw, Mike. How are you doing today, Mike?
Man, I'm riding a high. Of course, it's a gut punch losing Hutch. I mean, I feel like the tone of Lions fans this morning, Russ, is like we just left a funeral, right? I mean, we just smashed the Cowboys 47-9 in Dallas on Jerry's birthday, but yet it's bittersweet when you lose a guy like Hutch. And I just got done watching all the player comments on player interviews from after the game last night, and all of the players echo all the sentiments of what the fans are saying today. Such a leader, the heartbeat of this team, and it's a huge loss. But they also said, you know what, though? Next man up. That's what Hutch would want. So let's talk about this Lions victory in Dallas. Oh, okay, we'll talk about it right now. And we will go through the box scores, and then we're going to look into the comments. Some of our villains that are in here commenting already, giving well wishes to Hutchinson, even opposing fan bases showing some class and giving some well wishes for Hutch. But the Lions, let's talk about this game. They moved to 4-1. They beat the Cowboys, beat the brakes off them in Dallas, 47-9. Lions score on the first 9 possessions of the game. Would have been 10, but the half was running out. They had to take a kneel down. Otherwise, to kill the clock. Otherwise, they'd have scored on every possession. Jack Fox did not enter the game and punt that I can recall. And that was all orchestrated by an incredible offensive game plan set out by Ben Johnson and executed by the players to perfection. Our quarterback, who, by the way, can be called elite now, I'm pretty sure, 18 of 25 for Jared Goff, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, an incredible quarterback passer rating of 153.8. Last week it was 155.8. He comes back and goes 153.8 in this showing against Dallas. Just incredible. He was able to find receivers all over the field. Jamison Williams, a big game, 3 catches, 76 yards, and an electric touchdown. Sam Laporta, we've been waiting for a breakout game from Sam, and we still didn't get it. He only had 1 catch, but man, was it a catch. It was an electric 52-yard touchdown on a double flea flicker. Incredible. One for the ages for Laporta's 1 catch. Tim Patrick, one of the newer Lions, shows up with 3 huge catches, one on a big 3rd down shot in the first quarter. He had 3 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown. But you know what? It was the running game, Sonic and Knuckles, baby. Jahmyr Gibbs, Monty, David Montgomery, fresh off his fresh contract signing. I know we're going to talk about that near the end of the show. We're going to talk about go in depth and talk about this David Montgomery contract. But Monty, 12 carries. Gibbs, 12 carries. Combined, they had 184 yards rushing as a team. David Montgomery, 2 touchdowns and an average carry of 6.7 yards. Gibbs also 5.2 yards average per carry with a very respectable 63 yards on 12 carries. Team run. We were able to run the ball, and we were able to stop the run. We knew this coming in. The Lions, one of the best rushing teams in the league, and the Cowboys, one of the worst defending the run. And that's exactly how it played out. We hold them to only 53 yards total rushing. 53 yards total rushing. And 53 yards total rushing we hold the Cowboys to, while we rush for 184 yards. That's the story of the game, folks. We controlled the time of possession. We were scoring at will. Everything that we needed to do, we seemed like whatever we wanted to do, we could do. 89 points in the last 2 weeks. This offense is really clicking. And then when you listen to the player interviews after the game, they're actually saying, you know what? It ain't perfect, though. There's still some things we could clean up. A lot of great comments by the players and coaches. But overall, an outstanding win for the Detroit Lions in Dallas. What do you think, Russ?
Man, I'm looking at this team all over the place, and I'm proud of the team in so many different areas. You know, I mean, if we haven't said that Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch is one of the best safety tandems in the NFL, then we need to say that, because that is devastatingly tough back there when both those guys are back there. I mean, the Cowboys had some injuries on the defensive side of the ball for the most part, but that offense is still this offense that Jerry Jones bought and paid for, and the Lions defense handled them. 5 turnovers, and not to mention that this offensive line did exactly what I said this offensive line was going to do, and just take advantage of this. Take advantage of this, run downhill, just go get that meal. The most complete game on offense. I was proud of the entire team despite the tragedy.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you mentioned the defense, because I did not run through that in the box score, so I'm really glad you brought it up. The defense played the best game they've played, I think, under Aaron Glenn's regime. I believe this is the best defensive performance I've seen by a Lions team against a respectably good team. You look at, we lost Hutchinson, but you know what? The defense had 4 sacks, including the play that Hutch was hurt on. Aleem McNeil had 2 of those. Pascal didn't show up big in the box score, only 2 tackles and 1 tackle for loss, but he was solid. I thought it was his best game as a Detroit Lion. He was in on every play. He was pressuring the quarterback. And even when we didn't get the sacks, we were in Dak's face. We were smacking him in the mouth, knocking him to the ground, throwing him off his spot. They could just never get anything going. And I think Aaron Glenn did such a great job of mixing up the pressures, right? Normally he's in that man, he's in that base. The Lions, in fact, play base defense more than any team in the NFL. They did not do that yesterday. They were mixing and matching players in and out. We saw Makai Wingo. We saw Levi Onwuzurike coming in, making an impact in this game. Malcolm Rodriguez, Jalen Reeves-Maybin. These guys were all over the field. It was everybody stepping up to make a play. Trevor Nowaski, the newest Lion, in fact, with a sack yesterday. He played great. And I think that they overcame all of the Dallas BS and all the BS that goes along with Dallas, especially in that first quarter. You saw anytime that Dallas was in a third down, they would find some penalty to call, it would seem like, but there was nothing they could do. We just steamrolled over them. Lions flagged for 8 penalties in this game, but you know what? They weren't all over in the secondary. They're already starting to clean that up.
Right.
8 penalties committed by the Lions. 4 of those penalties resulted in first downs for the Dallas Cowboys, while the Lions only received 1 penalty that resulted in a first down. So definitely the defense picked up the pace, and they were huge in this game, Russ. I'm so glad you brought that up.
That's awesome. Hey, this is a Lion Villain Report for everybody that just popped in here. We're brought to you by NFL Shop. They're affiliate marketing partners with us. You can use the QR code, save 25%. Thank you to NFL Shop. And getting into some of this stuff. Got to get into.
Let's go into the comments. What do you think about that?
That's right. We
Let's
haven't
take it real quick. Let's say hi to everyone's in here. We'll start at the top. Henry, good morning. Dwayne Keene in here. Great to see you as always, Dwayne. David back in today says prayers for healing and comfort for everyone. Hutch will heal, but it's a long recovery process. Besides that fracture, there are many ligaments, tendons usually associated with that injury. Let's be clear here on this, though, folks. A fracture is when the bone splits. A compound fracture is when the bone breaks in half. And that's exactly what happened to Aiden Hutchinson yesterday. His tibia broken in half. He had emergency surgery in Dallas. But hold on. We're holding off. We're not talking about Hutch yet. We're still talking about this game. Let's go through the comments. Davey is in here as well. Good morning, Fred Peterson, supervillain. It's great day to be a Lions fan. One pride. Jay-Z says, everyone talking about Hutch, please don't forget that Carlton Davis got an unhelmeted boot to the head last night. Hope the best for all the fellas. He did, but he walked off under his own power. He looked pretty solid to me. I don't think Carlton's going to miss any time over this. He is in concussion protocol right now, though. Great call out, though, by Jay-Z. Bear Down Mike, one of the best Bear fans there are. Congrats on that dominating win. Congrats on being a classy individual, Bear Down Mike, and saying that. And also congrats on your London beatdown of the Jacksonville Jaguars, something we are definitely going to talk about on tonight's main event show at 7 p.m. I hope you tune in. We can talk about that at length. Ken Fisher in the house. Good morning, Russell. Praying for Hutch. Absolutely. Maurice, good morning. Helen, I screamed and I clapped. I did too, Helen. But it was a sobering moment to see Hutch carried off the field on a cart for sure. It kind of put a real damper on the whole thing. It was like the phone ringing during sex for me. Steve says, sorry for what happened to Hutchinson. Oh, there's a classy Packer fan in here. Prayers for Hutch. Mark. Paul Jones, super villain, says, good morning, villains. David, fractured tibia. Tibia honest. It's a broken tibia. See what I did there? Tibia honest. Anyway, moving on. I love this call. Michigan did it for Zach Zenner. The Lions can do it for Aiden Hutchinson. That's absolutely true. The Wolverines win a national championship, and they all said we did this for Zach Zenner, a team captain and the heartbeat of the team. We're seeing a similar situation here with Aiden Hutchinson, and we're going to talk about Hutch. Trust me, we are. Brian, in the comments, remember Dallas defense was hurt. Not taking anything away from our offense, just saying it may have been made a difference in points. And he's pointing ahead to the Minnesota game next week for sure. Elise, good morning. I knew I should have taken that nurse travel assignment in Dallas. Yes. And travel nurses make big bank, Elise. John says, what a game. Sad about Hutch, though. Broski Bear in here. Shout out Aiden Hutchinson. I hope this isn't a career ender for the young man. I'm going to let you respond to that one because I know you and Broski Bear are so tight.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, he seems respectful in that. I don't, I hope it's not a career ender. I mean, it didn't look good. It didn't look good, but no. Thank you, Broski.
Yeah, for sure. Jeremy B in the house today says he was at the Lions watch party last night, 20K in attendance, and the crowd was electric, and prayers up for Aiden. We got Joseph in the chat today. It wasn't Amon-Ra like you were rooting for, broski. Chada in the house. Now that's what I'm talking about. 47-9, right on. And a few others in the comments too. Keep bringing them in. Keep putting those comments in. Kyle in the house says, Kyle, good morning, fellow Lions. Prayers out to 97. So keep putting them in the comments. We'll get back to them here in a minute. But right now, I think maybe, do we want to soak up this win or do we want to transition right to Hutch now, Russell?
I mean, I definitely want to soak up the win. I mean, injuries happen in the NFL. And the thing is like, nobody's going to apologize. I saw a couple comments in there saying, oh, their line was beat up. This was that. And like, listen, nobody cares. Like, I'm not trying to say, hey, I don't care about Hutchinson's injury or anything like that, but this is not the Detroit Hutchinsons. And the thing is Minnesota we're going to go to Minnesota next week, and they ain't going to care that Hutchinson isn't there. They're going to play the game, and they're going to try to see, hey, there's blood in the water, and we got to go after it. And it's the next man up mentality. And these guys, I mean, they all watched it. All of the players commented on it, and it does something to you. It does something to you is like, watching one of your compadres. It's going to, I think, elevate the play of everybody. 52 men are going to get motivated because of this, because they really do want to do it for Hutch. Because Hutchinson's one of those kind of guys that he comes to work every day. His motor never stops, and the other guys see it, and it's infectious. And when you see a guy like that go down, it does something to you. I don't care who you are. If you're out and you're in war, with your best friend and they've been grinding next to you and you see something like that happen, this may be a motivating thing for the entire defense. He was our best player.
Mm-hmm.
He was our best player, but another man is going to come in and be on that other side now.
Absolutely. And if you listen to the player comments, it makes you feel a lot better because they say exactly what you just touched on, Russ. Yeah, it's terrible. He's a leader. He's a heartbeat of the team. But every one of them went there and said, but we got another game to play next week. We know that we have guys behind him that are going to play, and we're just going to keep rolling. And it was very encouraging to listen to that every single player that was interviewed, when of course they're asked about Hutch, they all came back with the same answer, like they've been conditioned to by their coach, and buy into that mentality that, hey, yeah, it sucks, but we're going to keep rolling with the next man up. So it makes me feel good. This team is really on a roll right now. And I love this, the slide you just put up. This is Victory Monday, man. We're beating our chests this morning, but it's a somber Victory Monday today because of the loss of Aiden Hutchinson. Such a good call out. More people here in the comments. Adam says, go get Crosby. We need help now. Ross, I'm going to let you jump on that, brother, because I know that you're not of that ilk. You do not buy into that narrative. Let's go get some help right now. Let's overpay for someone right now.
The thing is it was the next man up mentality. You guys got to remember that this happened in the third quarter. Okay? Dallas is still trying to mount comeback, trying to win the game. And that defense minus Hutchinson allowed no points. So it's like, or maybe they did get a field goal. I don't know. After Hutch, I thought they got the field goal with Hutchinson in there. And,
they did not score again after Hutch went out. In fact, they ended up putting Cooper Rush in when we shut him down.
Right. So it's like, it sucks, man. It sucks. Like there's two. No, I would say there's three. The three guys that they want to make the long term here. If Goff goes down, and I wouldn't even say Amon-Ra going down because we have so many playmakers, they would just, they would take the machine that Ben Johnson has and they'd shift it a little bit and they'd make life happen without Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think they could suffer an offensive playmaker injury, but Penei Sewell, Jared Goff, Aiden Hutchinson. Like this is huge. But I mean, for me, it's like, wow, this whole depth thing is going to get tested right here. But this is Brad Holmes. Brad Holmes, he's not going to do it. I know everybody hates me. Don't kill the messenger. Don't kill the messenger. But even with the loss of Aiden Hutchinson, Mike, Brad Holmes is not going to do that. He's just not going to do that. He believes in the future of this team, which you got the next men up. You had Ukwu step up into that spot. You might have to kick Levi out. You might have to reshuffle this line, but you still got Aleem McNeil. You still got Levi Onwuzurike. You still got DJ Reader. You still got Josh Pascal, who had his best game again.
I think there's about 3 weeks left before the trade deadline. Jeremy, if you're out there, you can research that and let us know what the real timeline is. I know it's in November, the trade deadline. So I think we got about 3 weeks to go. And who knows, if the Lions drop 3 in a row, maybe Brad Holmes will go out. Maybe if the pass rush falls off so much with Hutchinson, maybe then they would go out, but I don't think he's going to do it as a knee-jerk reaction. I don't think he's going to do it to looking like a desperate move because Hush goes out, and then by Wednesday he's signing Hassan Reddick or something. I just don't see it like you say, Russ. This is not Brad Holmes' philosophy. He does not believe in building the team through free agency. He builds it through the draft, and he's proven to be a total Jedi on that front. So I agree with you 100%. Bob in the comments says those trick plays, what a game. Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute, man.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, what they have on offense. Here's the thing last year, guys, like, and this is something I want to caution the the person that just wants to jump off of a cliff because of Hutchinson. Last year, the Lions went to the NFC Championship with a defense that was not average. It was below average, and this defense is better. This defense is better, and that offense that can put up points is here. Really, our defense took a huge hit last night, but our offense looks unstoppable. And the thing is when you have good offensive linemen, it just makes the plays work.
Mm-hmm.
And
let's talk about those offensive linemen and those trick plays. Oh, Dan Campbell. Oh, Ben Johnson. They tried to get a touchdown pass to Decker in the end zone in Dallas. That would have been absolutely epic. Dan Campbell said at the press conference, they're going to have to work that out in the O-line room because it was another O-lineman that cost him that catch. He did not pick up the block on the defensive player. Otherwise, Decker would have been wide open, and every Lions fan across the world would have went absolutely bananas had he scored that touchdown on a trick play. Also, the trick play to Penei Sewell that was called back on a terrible ineligible man downfield penalty. Amon-Ra said afterwards that the play was called grenade special. So grenade special. And it's Penei Sewell diving for the end zone. Again, really bummer that it gets called back, but we just seem to be able to do whatever we wanted. Great call out from the villains in the chat on those trick plays.
Oh, I loved every minute of it. Offensively, that's where you want to see it firing. Now, granted, it was without their best defensive lineman. Again, but what do you want them to do? You want them to let them play close or something? Like the Lions went out there and took care of business. Offensively, you had a couple guys down on defense. You have no business being on the field with this team. That's what they said. That's what they said. So no minimizing. If you want to minimize a win, go into some other chat because I ain't hearing it. It's missing me. It's missing me because it doesn't matter. These are NFL guys, and yes, that's what they did. They went and they took advantage. They smelled the blood in the water, and they said there was no competition there. There was no dispute. They scored on every freaking offensive play or every drive. Got points. It's like, okay, they were down. No, these guys. Yeah, okay. So they got dominated.
Mm-hmm.
What are you saying?
Doug in the chat says our best defensive, but also our team leader. Get better. You'll always be our team leader. I love that call out. Chance, Mitchell, everybody giving prayers up for Hutch. Gotta love it. He says we need edge help tremendously now. Got to pick someone up, even if it's just depth. Well, maybe James Houston isn't going to be run out of town like everybody's been predicting. Maybe this is Houston's time to shine. Josh Pascal has his best game of the Lion yesterday. Maybe now it's his time to shine. I think we're going to see that before we see Brad Holmes run out and get a free agent. You got a comment on that, Russell?
Yeah, the thing is, it's like it's not the sexy answer that you want to hear. But it's like you don't look and say, oh, Mitchell Agude, oh, Ukwu, who the hell's that? They don't look at it like that. They look at it like they had a depth chart of a whole bunch of guys that have been practicing with the team since training camp. And they know the defense. They know what's going on. They value that kind of guy more than any free agent that's out there right now. Or any guy that, just go get Max Crosby. Well, okay. Don't you have to have a willing trade partner? What do you think? You think the Raiders are just like, yeah, let's get rid of the best player that we have? That's a pipe dream guy. He's not available.
Right. And Crosby himself said last week, stop it. I don't want to go anywhere.
Crosby's not there.
And
I love Tyler here. Is disgruntled.
Tyler's completely aligned with you, Russ. These other fans are driving me nuts. Hutch is out, but we have angry Lions looking to take over his spot at the head of the pack. Next man up. Somebody's going to step up. Enough with the Crosby and Reddick, etc. trades. Just what you're saying right there, Russ.
Yeah, at least Reddick is like disgruntled and said, hey, I want to be traded. Crosby's just an awesome player. Hey, man, why don't we just trade for Myles Garrett? Okay. Yeah, the Browns are on line one trying to trade Myles Garrett, right?
I actually think that's more plausible than Crosby.
Really?
I do. I really do, because he's like a cornerstone of the franchise and he's still young. Garrett is on the backside of his career on a team that doesn't look like they're going to win anytime soon. They're hamstrung by the salary cap of Deshaun Watson. Cleveland might come off of a guy like that to try to change the trajectory of their franchise, much the way the Lions did by trading Matthew Stafford.
Okay. If you're going to force me to entertain this idea, so let's say Brad Holmes was really looking for a guy that he was going to trade for to bring into this team, which, by the way, I don't mind if they do. I mean, if they want to do that and that's the direction that he goes, I back the GM on this. It's just not in his DNA to do it. But if they were to do it, they'd be looking for a guy that was on the last 1 or 2 years of his deal. And that way, it's somebody that we can walk away from when our little cap situation blows up in 2026, which I have another whole topic on that I'll probably get to later this week about David Montgomery's contract. We'll get into that a little bit later, but we gotta cover the now.
Right.
But
and I think Myles Garrett fits the bill of what you're saying there. He's on an expiring contract, just much like Carlton Davis was. And we were able to pick him up. So I think that's actually more plausible than Max Crosby and certainly Hassan Reddick.
Yeah, but it's like, what would that cost? And we went over this, guys. We went over this. It's like Brad Holmes, his superpower. He's really good at everything with contracts. You could probably list the top 5 things that GMs need to do, and he probably checks 9 out of 10 on at least all of them on there. But the one thing that is his 10 out of 10 bona fide hits the home run is he picks well. He utilizes his draft picks, and 2, 3, 4 years down the road, they have the right guys. And for some reason, these guys are all good. And to give his superpower away to bring in a guy that he didn't pick is that's dangerous to me. That's just my opinion.
Right. And you look at the guys that he picked and the way they played yesterday, Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch specifically on the back end. What a safety duo. Kirby Joseph now 4 interceptions in 5 games. He's on a Pro Bowl course at the least. If he continues on this trajectory, we're talking about another Pro Bowl selection from a Brad Holmes draft pick. And Brian Branch yesterday, what did he was directly responsible for 3 turnovers. Right. And one of the leaders in tackles on the team, the kid is playing lights out. We could see another Pro Bowl selection there. And folks, if that happens, we're talking 7 Pro Bowlers in 3 years worth of drafting. It's unheard of. It's historic. And that's what we're looking at with Brad Holmes. So let's trust in the man, will we? Please.
Yeah, I mean, but we're also acknowledging that elephant in the room too, because I'm not unrealistic to how bad this hurts. I'm like, honestly, you ask a Minnesota Viking fan, if you're watching right now, Sarah out there, JC, I'm scared of your team without Hutchinson on 1 week of preparation. I am going into the 5-0 Vikings in Minneapolis. Like, this is a shock, right? You have to prepare completely different. And you guys don't have to prepare for Hutchinson. So I don't know if that changes their game plan a lot. So, yeah, we got to count on this next guy to step up. Who's going to be the guy? Is it going to be James Houston? Is it going to be Ukuwu, or is it going to be Mitchell Gude? Are they going to use a hybrid where maybe they use more cornerbacks? And they do a couple, 3 linebackers and more cornerbacks and go faster without Hutchinson? They're going to blitz more. They're going to tweak the defensive scheme a little bit to do something, because really with their interior, with what Mike, the interior that they have with DJ Reader, Lee McNeil, and Levi Onwuzurike right there, these guys demand like the double teams right there. All 3 of them have been beastly in that way. So whoever steps into that Hutchinson role is going to have opportunity, maybe better opportunity than he's anywhere else, because Aleem and DJ Reader are just that's a force. You're gonna have to dedicate, 3, 4, 5 guys to just get those guys. So you're gonna get free rushing. The defensive ends have opportunity here in Detroit. And if that guy's not Hutchinson, a guy is going to be there. Who is that guy going to be?
We saw Ukwu number 45, come up from the practice squad and play really, really good when Hutch went out. So he was getting pressures on the quarterback. He got a bad block in the back on one play that wasn't called, or it would have been a sack on Dak Prescott from Ukwu. So I love it. Big Dan Davis, a good friend of the show, is in the chat today. Glad to see you here, Big Dan. But I'm going to call you out here. Big Dan, very critical of Brad Holmes in our back chat. He's always very critical, and he's been calling for another edge opposite Hutch all year long, even before the season. When Matthew Betts didn't make the team, now all of a sudden he's calling for this other edge all year long. And I love this call from Big Dan. Says if he does make a move, he doesn't think it'd be a guy like Myles Garrett or Max Crosby. It'd be more of a lower tier guy, a more affordable guy, more of the bargain bin Brad Holmes that we like to. Some people
dollar store Brad.
Yeah, dollar store Brad. Right. I think a guy like Harold Landry from the Titans, Dan says, is more realistic. He played for Terrell Williams in Tennessee and has 45.5 career sacks on his resume. That's a great call out, Dan. If that comes to fruition, I'm sending you a T-shirt, Big Dan. If you make that call right here the day after Hutch goes down and we end up acquiring a guy like Harold Landry, that would be huge, by the way. Harold Landry is an underrated player. He is a stud on defensive line, so that's a great call out. Broski Bear, did you see Caleb dropping dimes yesterday? Yeah, I was hearing about it on a Bears show too. You can check out the main event tonight, Broski. We will talk about that. David in the chat says Arnold looks like he's improving too. Yes, nice fumble recovery. Didn't give up a touchdown. No pass interference penalties on Terrion Arnold yesterday. But let's face it, Carlton Davis was the man on CeeDee Lamb yesterday, and really he had they have nobody beyond CeeDee Lamb on that team playing wide receiver. Tolbert, these guys aren't front end starters. They lost Brandon Cooks. That would have been a real test for a guy like Terrion Arnold, but I absolutely love the call out. How about this one from Jay-Z? McKinney versus Kirby versus Branch versus Harrison Smith. Battle for the best safety in the NFC right here in the North. Such a great call out that is.
That's fair. Like, to me, obviously you're going to ride and die with your team. And I like Brisker too. I mean, if you want to throw him into that mix, you know, we got great back end defenders in the NFC North. And I'll stay on this too. Like, I give credit where credit is due. It's the best division in football. I mean, I've said it from the beginning. I know that you argued the AFC North against me at the beginning of the season, but it's like, this is the best division in football. And now I'm not so crazy. I'm not as crazy.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. The AFC North really has fallen off from the beginning of the season. And it wasn't just me. That's the scuttlebutt around the league is that the AFC North was considered the strongest division in football. But I agree with you 100%. It is definitely the NFC North, and I think that's pretty obvious now. Corey says if Levi and those guys are as good as people say, the next man up should be good. Let's hope so. Good call out there. Paul Jones calling out that Kyle Pecco getting more snaps. He had a great pressure on Dak Prescott and landed with all his body weight on him. That was beautiful to see.
And Mekhi Wingo, too. I forgot that. He'll probably get a bigger opportunity now.
Yeah, and what a great interception by Brian Branch. Oh, my gosh. They showed the replay 3 or 4 times, and you're like, oh, yeah, it's a good interception. But when they showed the reverse angle of it, only one time they showed the reverse angle, you could see how stealthy he was, and Dak did not have a chance on that. He was reading that play and where it was going the whole time. Beautiful across the body interception. And then with the punch out that was recovered by Terrion Arnold, what a great play. Brian Branch, an absolute stud. And what do we say anytime we're talking about Brian Branch? Thanks, Green Bay.
Thank you, Green Bay. Thank you, Green Bay. I think that they like Jaden Reed. I know, Steve, you love your Jaden Reed, but I'll never forget that Brian Branch was on the board. And who knows? They'll probably be D'ing up against each other. It's probably going to be Brian Branch versus Jaden Reed. There'll be a slot matchup. That I like that. Throughout their entire career. You talked about this when they first got drafted. That Jaden Reed and Brian Branch are forever going to be tied with each other because they were drafted right there. They traded us their draft pick. We picked Brian Branch. They had Jaden Reed, and they'll actually guard each other. Like they're going to actually go against each other in matchups. And I think that it's awesome. I think it's a great matchup too, by the way.
For sure. Steve in the comments says, I really do love this team. They're fun to watch. Brad, Dan, and yes, the ownership have done a phenomenal job. I'm proud to be a Lions fan, and I believe they can still make a Super Bowl run. I believe they are also still viable Super Bowl contenders. Let's not undersell it, though. Losing Hutch makes that a little bit harder for sure. But a source close to Aiden Hutchinson disclosed to the Detroit News this morning that this injury is less than the injury he had as a junior at Michigan, where he broke his other leg. This injury is not as serious as that injury, and we saw how he came back from that. And that also in that comment from that source said that if the Lions were to make it to the Super Bowl, Aiden Hutchinson will probably be available based on the severity of this injury. But, I mean, it's definitely too premature to say that. There's so many factors that go involved. Everybody heals different. What is the other structural damage that's involved? There's so many things. It's too early to say that yet. But that was a source very close to Aiden Hutchinson, reported by the Detroit News. So I guess definitely a more reliable source than some internet knucklehead with a podcast. I resemble that remark.
Well, it's Overreaction Monday here at the Lion Villain Report. The host, Russell Wayne, is with my partner in crime, Main Event Mike. Mike, why don't you tell them a little bit about tonight?
I will, and it'll segue right into Broski's comment. Mike, what's your channel? It's the same channel you're watching, buddy. We are the Villain Squad. Just be here 7 p.m. Monday nights, Eastern time, from now until the end of time. It's the Main Event Football Show, hosted by Main Event Mike. And, of course, the wizard, Russell Wayne, will be behind the glass producing as well. So we're going to have all these dope graphics you see on your page with all this animation and movement, the shit you don't see on other pages and other shows. We're still going to have that. It's just me rambling on a lot more than what you see here this morning. And we also like to go off the beaten path on the main event. And we've got some topics lined up for tonight, stuff you're not going to hear on this show and you're not going to hear on other shows. So tune in tonight, 7 p.m., the Main Event Football Show.
I love it, Mike. I love it. Not this, what I just put up there. But this is probably a lot of what we're going to be talking about tonight. And, thinking of solutions for this, because I know a lot of people think that we need to go out and get somebody from the outside. So I'm willing to entertain that at this point. This is extreme. I'm not a fan, I'm not a fan. I usually campaign against going out and getting somebody. I don't think they're going to, unless it's something like what Dan Davis is talking about, where it's some, second tier type of person that they could get. But we'll entertain it. We'll look through, and I'm going to find some possibilities. If not by tonight, we'll have a discussion this week, and we'll make a list of candidates that we could possibly trade for, maybe at the back end of their deal, or, maybe Brad Holmes makes a couple of these phone calls. So who do you want that to be? Put that in the comments. That's a good thing to put into the comments.
Right. Jeremy B says, doesn't the player have to be active prior to the playoffs to return from IR? Sure, Jeremy, but guess what? The Lions are only carrying 52 right now, not 53. They've had an open roster spot for the last 2 weeks now. They don't necessarily have to put Aiden Hutchinson on IR after that deadline. They could keep him off. And some people are saying months, some people are saying career ender. But look, a broken bone heals in 8 weeks, and it heals stronger than it was before. So depending on the severity of the injury, we could see Hayden Hutchinson come back before the playoffs even. If it's a nice clean break, if the surgery goes well, and kudos to the Lions for keeping him in Dallas. And they immediately put him into surgery in the Dallas hospital. The team hadn't even left the locker room yet, they say, and Aiden was already under the knife. So kudos to the Lions for acting quickly. And who knows, we will find out as the weeks go on how severe this injury is and whether or not what kind of timetable we're looking for Hutch to come back. And David Cohen in the comments for the first time. Thanks for being on the show, David. Aiden should heal and come back next year. Trayvon Walker should be available for us. Let's kill that Trayvon Walker talk right now, can we? Trayvon Walker was a number 1 overall pick. Even if Jacksonville were to let him go, we'd have to pay him $20 million or more on a contract extension when his time comes due. Maybe we get him as a 1-year rental for the last year of his rookie deal or something, but
yeah,
that's just not an option I can see happening. It's been all over the internet trading for Trayvon Walker. I don't think Jacksonville will let him go. He's finally starting to produce for them. And I just don't think contractually it's a good fit for the Lions. So love the comment.
Yeah, well, it would have to be in the way that you just said it. You know, they're not going to extend him, you know, like for top defensive end money, but you can have him, you know, at the end of his rookie deal with the option to do the 5th year option with him, and that would be the only way that would happen. So if we're entertaining that they're not going to sign and extend, and Jacksonville's not going to get rid of him for free, you know. So I don't know.
And this is a tough one. Jonathan Haidt, what a great Lions fan he is, always in here with a great take. But man, this one you're on the opposite end of the spectrum with most Lions fans here. I mean, there's a lot that are doom and gloom I've seen this morning, but this is one hell of a take, Jonathan. My honest opinion is going to make it to where we are no longer Super Bowl favorites. Okay, not saying that we're not Super Bowl contenders. Okay, I misunderstood you. Not saying we're no longer Super Bowl favorites. We're not the prohibitive favorite to win the NFC now without Hutch. I think that's a fair take. It's about as bad as losing Amon-Ra, Sewell, or even Goff. It's awful, but I think we'll only come back stronger. You mean come back stronger next year, Jonathan? I mean, are you giving up on our hopes this year for a Super Bowl? The Super Bowl window is still open with or without Hutch. I think the team proved that in the second half yesterday.
Yeah, it's a blow, man. Like, I mean, I think that's a fair take. Like, I thought we were definitely Super Bowl favorites with Hutchinson in there. And I do believe that this is the worst injury that could have been sustained out of any player that you wouldn't want to go down. It was Hutchinson. I mean, even Penei Sewell. We got Hank Fraley, dude. I mean, we have one of the best offensive line coaches, and they make it work. We've had offensive line injuries all over the place, and they do this patchwork thing, and they're able to do it. But Hutchinson is such a high-end player over and above everybody else that it's like he gives you such a plus at that position that it's such a downgrade. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see, because somebody's going to step into that spot, but it's just like, oh God, you can count on it.
Apparently over the weekend, Broski finished up his medical degree and became Dr. Broski Bear. It's all about the nerves and veins healing. There's no way Aiden is back this season. Stop it. His lower left leg was flopping in the wind. It was a gruesome injury for sure, but we're only at week 6. 17 weeks. That's 10 weeks. That's 2 weeks longer than a bone needs to heal just for the regular season. Then there's the playoffs. So don't count it out yet, Broski. You don't know that. That statement you just made right there is pretty definitive. And you don't know that for sure, that there's no way that he comes back this season. Maybe in the week or two, we'll know more. Maybe in a couple of days, we'll know more. And maybe you're right. But right now, it's way too early to make that prediction, Broski. But thanks for the comment.
Well, I don't normally agree with Broski, but like I'm kind of with him on this, because it's like, yeah, that thing was flopping in the wind, and it maybe just, you know, it looks worse than it is, but it's like, I don't know, that I'm gonna count on Hutchinson being ready for 2025 and get him right in at training camp. You know, get him nice and recovered from that injury. I don't think we're gonna see Hutchinson again this year, other than on the sidelines with a "you can do it."
Yeah.
Do
it for Hutch.
Yeah. I'm not as optimistic as you, Mike. But he is young. You know, I guess the body can heal better for a younger person. And they did get him to immediate medical attention, had surgery. I think that the surgery might have even been done before the game was over.
Right.
So they were on it. We'll give them that.
Yeah, it was a gruesome injury for sure. I thought he broke both bones in the leg, the way it was flopping on the replay. And you know, TV would not show the replay again. And we all missed it on the replay, probably thanks to me, because I'm going, oh, I think it's his hand. Oh, I think it's his wrist. We were all freaking out in the Lions Den. And it was not. It was his leg. But I did get to see it on the replay. What a gruesome injury. You know, you're probably right, broski. Maybe he doesn't come back this year. You could be right there. But I think it's too early for all of us non-medical professionals to make any kind of blanket statement about it. That's all I'm saying.
Is we had that opportunity when I was on the show last week with Darcy, Ted Rath, and he had said that he was going to come on the program. I think this might be a good one for him to come on and get his medical opinion on this. At least he's a freaking expert, and we can stop talking like we know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Broski Bear MD coming to CBS TV this fall.
Well, I feel I'm with him with Russell Wayne, MD. That thing, it just didn't look good. It just didn't.
I'm sorry, good. That has actually a pretty good ring to it. Russell Wayne, MD.
Russell Wayne, MD. Yeah.
David in the chat says, if Goff went down, at least we know Brady would like to replace him. Let's talk about that real quick. Tom Brady, I thought he did a great job as an announcer. Maybe I liked it because you could tell he hates Dallas. And he was giving us kudos and praise all through the game. You could see his reactions. They kept showing every time the Lions would score, Brady was getting like happy about it. I thought that was really interesting. And he did say, man, I would love to quarterback this team. Coming from Tom Brady, that's some awesome praise right there. What'd you think of that, Russ?
Yeah, well, that would be crazy. Could you actually imagine the way this city would be? I mean, if something happened to Goff and Tom Brady comes out of the booth and he starts QBing this team, it's like, oh shit. If I have an offensive line like that, man, Goff could take a sip. You know, he was just sitting in that backfield. You know, I know they didn't have their best defensive linemen, but I mean, Goff could have taken a nap back there. You know, he could have watched some cartoons. Like, there was no hint of them ever getting any pressure against our offensive linemen. It was just like, oh, no. I think they did dial up a blitz and get a sack on Goff. But no, that offensive line, Brady would just sit back there and do Brady stuff, right? With all those weapons.
I do got to jump off right here, Russ, but what a great show today on the Villain Report. Thanks to all the villains that are putting their comments in. If you're watching this on the recorded broadcast, thank you as well for watching. Tune in tonight, main event football show, 7 p.m. We're going to talk about some different topics as well as hitting this other stuff. And hopefully we'll have some developments in some of these stories by 7 o'clock tonight. We're also going to talk about the football game that's going on tonight. Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets for the AFC East division lead on Monday Night Football. The Jets are +2.5 at home. Russ and I both took the Jets. We'll also go over our predictions from Thursday and see what kind of record the Swami amassed this week. It's pretty impressive, I will have to say. So that'll be tonight at 7 p.m. Main Event Football Show. Thanks for having me, Russ. God bless you all.
Man, killing it. That's what Main Event Mike does. He comes in, he kills the outro like he always does. But yeah, you can join him tonight. I'll be on there too. We got to talk about it. There's a lot of things to talk about. because, gosh, let's have that conversation. We're definitely going to hit the other teams in this division. Holy crap. I mean, the black and blue division is back. Like, you can count on the NFC North to put a whooping on any team outside the division. We know this. Holy crap. Stack them up. Stack them up. Who is the best team in the NFC North? You got 2 4-2 teams. Lions are 4-1. The Vikings are 5-0. Where's everybody at with that? Steve says, should the Lions go get Hassan Reddick? And I just don't believe in that. I'm going to do some research this week and see if I can't find some people that I think they might go out and get. And we're going to look at that. One funky Lions fan says Walker from the Jags is possible, and there are rumors that the Lions have been talking to them the last week about Walker. You got to give a deal. You better give a deal. TJ Watt? How are we going to get TJ Watt? This is the Lion Villain Report. Lions with a huge win, but it's a somber victory Monday. The blowout win felt fantastic, but we lost one of our generals. How will the Lions recover? Will they recover? Is this just too big? Will the Lions go out and make a move? We're going to be discussing that tonight. We're going to be discussing that probably throughout the week. But the Lion Villain Report every day, Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m., broadcasting live into the Lions Villain Squad Facebook page. And we're on YouTube at Lion Villain Squad. We're live in Detroit Lions News Podcast and JC Sports Network. Brought to you by NFL Shop. Affiliate marketing partners. Use the link. Save some money. Grab one of them snazzy new Lions jerseys right there. Faith, family, and then football. In that order. We use football, create memories, spend time with our family. We don't let football use us. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again. Tonight, peace out. God bless.
Hey, yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, hands open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose what I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me, it's never the sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity.